All right. Hi everyone. Welcome to the Android community call. The first one for the year. Really super excited about that. Thank you all for joining the call. I'm really excited. We've got a number of people online already. Already we are at about 30 online, 40 online attendees. Thank you so much for joining. And for me, this is really exciting. Um like I mentioned earlier, my name is Mayowa, and I'm with Premise Data. That's the name of my engagement, and it's my fourth year on the engagement. I'm currently the community champion for the Android community, and it's really for me an exciting thing to be able to host this call and have you guys all from the Android community join into this call and have us learn together. um, Last year we had one community call. This will be the first for this year. My hope is that we'll be able to have more and more for this year, maybe like five of them, as much as we can have. I understand that Fiji may say that the time because the slots are limited, but we want to fill that slot up, and it's just for our learning purpose. So I want to encourage each and every one of us. If you have anything you want to share with the community, if you have a talk you want to share, how they learn from one another, we want to have that. Feel free to submit that in the we have a link where you can submit that. So just submit it, we will review it, and then we'll be able to reach out to you and make arrangement for how you can host that call and be successful at it. So yeah, that's the link there. You can just scan the QR code, and then you'll be able to submit your own call as well. We want as much call as much as possible. So, and as well, I also want to remind us that the Android Skill Android community channel is meant to interact, engage with each other, learn from each other as well. So if there's anything in terms of questions, if there's anything in terms of like new research, what's happening in the Android community that you want to share with everyone in the community, feel free to drop it there. If you just wrote a blog you want to share with everyone, feel free to drop it there. I want to encourage everyone that has been posting, engaging the channel to continue doing so. Really appreciate that. The energy this year has been super high. Thank you so much. I don't want to take the much of today's call. My colleague here, Islam Ahmad, who has been on the same engagement with me for I think more than a year now, will be hosting today's call on screenshot testing. And I'm really excited to have Islam do this for us. Hi, Islam. How's it going? How you feeling?
Hey Mario, how are you? Good morning. I'm so excited to start talking about this screenshot testing. You know, we was implemented this one in premise data and try to finalize and wrap it up. So we try to share our knowledge for this
Cool,
project
cool.
actually with the community.
Cool. So yeah, so I mean that I can testify to a lot of the things that Islam has worked on for screenshot testing. So give you a little background about what kind of motivated this. We in our team, Premise Data, we moved from a lot of manual testing, which means that having QA engineers in our team, to more of automated testing and having less QA engineer on our team. And in order to ensure that we can have more confidence in our release process, screenshot testing was better. We had UI testing, we had all of unit testing as well. But we needed something that could give us more confidence. And Islam has been leading that idea, the initiative, helping us to gather all the information required. So it's so exciting to have Islam share with us some of the cool engineering stuff he has been able to unravel so far. Islam, I would like you to take it here from me and have a fantastic call.
Thank you, Mario. So first of all, I want to say hello. I'm Islam Ahmad, located in Cairo, and I'm working for Premise Data. And like what Mario said, we was working on this project just to give us a more confidence. Like we have a lot of tests, like integration tests, and also we have a unit tests, but we need to got more confident about the project, except especially when we move from the manual testing to automation testing. So thank you, Maya, for giving me this opportunity, and thank you, Fiji, for giving me this opportunity to talk about this, screenshot testing and our experience to implement this. So let us start. So yeah, can you see my screen right now? Very good. So before I can start, the screenshot testing is actually not here to replace any existing framework or any existing tests, but it's some extension to expand our confidence in our application before releasing it, to users. So why actually we need the screenshot testing first of all? We actually need the screenshot testing before we have some comparison. Like we have a unit test and we have an integration test and we have the UI tests. So each test of these tests actually covers part of our application. So the unit tests actually using a JUnit framework, and its execution speed is very fast. This is the fastest one in our test suite, and also it covers the unit or the method. Our unit or our building unit is a method itself, so it covers a method. But does it support the refactoring, like a massive refactoring? I can remember when Google got volley deprecated and we start moving to retrofit or okay HTTP, you know. So this migration and also the migration from MVP to MVVM or MVC to MVP, and these migrations, the unit test will not cover because we will remove our existing class and write a different logic with a different mechanism. So the unit test is not covering this, but it's actually brilliant and very helpful to cover our current existing logic not impacted with anything. Also, it doesn't the unit test just test the on JVM or running on JVM, so it's doesn't has the Android context, so we will not be able to see what's visible for the user. And also we have the integration tests. The integration tests is very different from different perspective. Like anyone can see espresso as an integration tests or end-to-end tests, but we let us talk about Robolectric as a integration tests for us. So the Robolectric is a framework, give us some shadows, like to make the integration tests or the Android tests or running on the JVM. So the Robolectric is slower than the unit tests, but it's also run on the JVM. So it's more fast than Espresso, but it also covers the modules, like you can test by providing a shadow for the Android UI and the Android text. You can test your entire module, but it's when we go to massive refactoring, it's also will support the only logic. We didn't have the actual UI, so we will cover the logic. So also, does it validate what's showing you to user now, because we are working with shadows. So came to UI tests, we are using Espresso, and it's slower than integration because it's run on a real device or emulator. It could be covering act or covers the integration tests, like integration tests the modules, or also it could be end to end. So does it support the refactoring? Yes, it will support the logic refactoring if we are migrating from MVP to MVVM by preserving the same UI. Yeah, it will cover everything here. Also, does it validate what's shown to user? Yes, it's validate what's shown to user by properties, not the actual log. Like we are validating, does this text view has a property, its text property is equal to blah blah blah, or we are validating a properties like a height and width and background and everything like this. We are asserting a property value here. So Which one of these, as we already have all of these tests, we need actually to do some real testing, or eye testing, to check, is this UI looks like Figma or XD, does it in a right order, like this text view came first and this text view came at last. So we have a gap here, should be filled. So here is the screenshots methodology came to rescue. So that by following these steps, actually we will be able to run or filling this gap, by capturing some reference screenshot, like writing a UI test using Espresso here, and then capture some screenshots and generate a report or something, like, here is the screenshots for our current tests. So, and give this report to product owner, or our designing team, and ask, does this screenshots looks good? Is it what we intended to show to user? So if we got an approval, we will consider all of these screenshots as a reference screenshots. And from this point, each time we open a PR, each time before releasing, at any moment we can validate the same screenshot by running all the Android Espresso tests and capture some screenshots. And then we will start compare both image, like the current one or the actual one which is running on the PR or before releasing, and the reference screenshots which got approval from the product or our QC team, and also the designer team. So when we talk about this thing like screenshot validation and everything like this, we the flakiness is our ghost here. Like, our nightmare for the UI tests is the flakiness. So actually, what is the flakiness? Its definition is too simple. Like, let's imagine we have two developer one, so asking developer two, does it work? Is the tests work? So developer two will ask, yeah, sometimes I didn't change anything, and sometimes it passes, and sometimes no, not passing. So this is the most simple definition of flakiness. Like, I think we all crying from this flakiness. And before diving into how we can integrate screenshot testing and or the Android UI tests, our we should solve, or we should talk about flakiness and how we eliminate this. Because if we have a flakiness, or we have a flaky UI, it doesn't matter to just got rid of these tests and fix the flakiness. So look, we can compare it. I will talk about this in next slides. So let us talk first about the flakiness reasons. You know, so we have a production code like async operations and race condition and everything like this. We have a UI, like a UI ghosts, like toasts or snack bars or animations. So all of this, it's got dismissed, shown and dismissed by a very weird behavior. Also, testing on real device or emulator, which has some changes in disk battery process, a lot of things. And also the notification tray, it's when we run the test and we got a notification, and if we capture the screenshot while we got this notification, it will be not passing. Okay, so the infrastructure also, like a disk or memory or something like this out of memory, because of a lot of applications is running or anything like this, will make the tests doesn't pass. So it may call or may proceed to may produce some issues. So, and also a lot of more reasons behind this flakiness. So we have a question right now. So, are we can eliminate the flakiness 100%? No, we will not be able to eliminate all the flakiness reason, because we eat day by day we adding a new code changes every day, so we have a new resources for this flakiness. But we will do our best to reduce this flakiness. So how we fight this flakiness? So the first thing, can I think all of us know about the rabbit and turtle. So this rabbit and turtle actually, so, uh, something like describe racing conditions. So you know we need to just wait until all the async operation are done, because of if we asserting before the data come, or we cannot grant this async operations, so we just need to wait like this here. So let us think between the rabbit and turtle, and yeah. So how we can solve this sync or async operations? We can solve it by using an idling resources, which is provided by Espresso itself, or also we can use smart waiting algorithms like Caspresso library has some smart waiting algorithms to just solve this async operation and wait the data to be came and populated before asserting. Also, we have a networking. So how we can grant the network stability? We will not, I think, at any point during this call anyone can be dropped because of internet connection. So we need to make sure our tests using a stable network. So just mock the responses like record and replay. There are a lot of libraries using record and replay, and also we can implement it by ourselves for the infrastructure. So the diagram is very simple. Like here's the real backend replying, to the device, and we capture them through the device and during the running. So this is a record operation and reply. When we go through this Android tests, we just read or retrieve or reply the recorded tests. This one actually will solve a lot of issues for flakiness. Like I don't have any percentage, but it's a huge percentage because of network stability and replying and call timeout and everything like this is very bad and a nightmare for everyone. Also, we should isolate got the isolate environment. Like before, we will start working on any test. Like we need to assert like a home screen and the user's screen or user settings screen and everything like this. So we before each test we should, or after each test we should clear everything, like clear the shared preferences, clear the files, clear the databases, because we need, to start a fresh test and also inject our data. So if you don't have anything, or if we have any clearing logic, don't have clearing logic like a cached preferences or cached files, it may cause some issues because we will alter other logic. So let us start fresh each test. Also, for the UI ghosts like the snake bar and toasts or anything just got dismissed by time, let us control this by taking implementing some proxy which is control the time or control the hidden time, and also, or take the manual show and hide for this UIs. So also the emulator itself, like I think also another part, like when we have a small screen device and run all the tests, or and optimize all the tests for this small screen devices, and it's look good, and then might move the tests for the other screen, like the bigger screen or something like this, it may cause some issues. So we need to take control over this emulators creation, and also we need to got rid of everything in this emulator doesn't need it. Like if we don't need the sensors, let us remove it, disable the animation before start, and remove play store and play services if we don't need it, as we need this emulator to be light, and because we will run these tests, a lot of time, and also use a fresh emulator instance each time, because you know the emulator software is a buggy one, so we need to get rid of these bugs as much as we can. So the just like when we call a technical support for the internet here in Egypt, just telling you turn off the router and turn it on. So let us do this logic here. So, yeah. So, when I was talking about these devices and the emulator different screen sizes, we need to take control of this one. So, we need to use the same device configuration on our local machines or for CI/CD. So how we can do this? Actually, we have a lot of variety for these test devices, like using Firebase test labs. It's awesome, actually, awesome solution. Like, we have a real devices, and also but the main we have an emulator and real devices, but it has some cost. So it may be, there are no money to run all the tests for Firebase test labs. So also other solution, we can use the Gradle managed devices, which is already part of Android debugging, or Android, Gradle. So we can use this Gradle managed devices to improve the consistency and performance for our tests. Also we can use, there are a third party plugin called Android emulator plugin, and I actually will use this in the current slides, because it gave us a lot of flexibility to control everything. So, can we reduce the flakiness 100%? No, we will not be able. So if we will not be able to reduce it, just let us measure it to, and to make sure we are on right track. So there are a third party library or Android Gradle called Marathon. This Marathon is a cross-platform test runners for the Android and iOS. It's focused on stability and performance, but the most impressive thing here is the flakiness report. This flakiness actually give us a numerical value to measure how flaky our UI tests is. So it's give us a flakiness free, 95, which is an amazing percentage. But how it measures the flakiness, it's actually if the test passed from the first attempt, so it's not flaking. And if we have a flake UI, like this UI testing fail, it will retry up to X amount, provided through Gradle configuration. So, it could be passed from three attempt or two, or from the first time it will be flakiness free. So, any question for this flakiness part? Okay, I went through all of these reasons, quickly, but we should solve it before we start talking about our implementation for the screenshots testing. So the screenshots testing actually built on top of UI tests. So, and there are a lot of implementations, or POCs for this one. Like, we have a screenshots testing tests for Android. It's produced by Facebook. It's our first screenshots testing framework for Android, and also it's written by Facebook to minimize visual regression in the Android apps. This is from the description of the plugin itself. Also, we have a different, we have other plugin like Shoot. This Shoot plugin also built on top of Facebook a Gradle plugin to test the screenshots, and it's here, like, building and connect Android tests. It's run all the Android tests first, and then start validating the screenshots. And yeah, it will generate a report telling us how many tests are passed and how many tests is not. And also we have Testify from AirPMP, which is also provide a very impressive thing, like an a great Android Studio plugin or IntelliJ plugin, so which is adds this screenshot here, so to run all the screenshots. So it's also running and comparing the screenshot, and everything is very good during this Testify. So is this plugin, if this plugins like a Facebook plugin or Shoot plugin or Testify plugin giving you what are you want, so we are okay. But if we need to upload the reference screenshots to Firebase and upload our reports to Firebase and take control over everything in this process, like generating a different report, like if we need to add any customization. So this is the main target of this code, is to be able to add our own custom implementation for this screenshots testing. So to maximize the benefit of this screenshot testing, we can create, our own cocktail. Who doesn't love the cocktails when it comes to life, you know? So we need to make our tests powerful and customizable. So to meet all of our needs, like running on different emulators, running on different locales, and uploading the screenshots to somewhere we can access and everything like this. So yeah, why we need it, actually, I talked about why we need it to create our special cocktail, like uploading the reference screenshots and reports to Firebase, control and test multiple emulators and wide range of locales, generating a custom report and integrate with our channels. So to start creating actually our lovely cocktail, we need to bring our equipment. So the first thing here, we need to to start integrating or creating our lovely cocktail here. We need to start creating or integrating our logic for the Android test setup, which will capture the screenshots and save it to emulator. So also we need to create another task for updating reference screenshots. Actually, we need to run all the Android UI tests and then pull the captured screenshots from the emulator and save it, to the save it, to reference place. Like this reference could be our local devices or could be our Firebase storage or anything else. And also to validate the screenshots, so we need to run all the Android tests. We need to pull the reference screenshots from the saved location, if it a local device or Firebase. And also we need to pull our actual screenshots from the emulator and then do the comparison between the reference and the actual screenshots and generate a report for these failures. So let us talk first about this Android test setup. So we have a package for the Android support test runners. We have this screenshot capture processor. So we can use this one here, this method, to capture the screenshot and call it anywhere inside our testing suite for this espresso tests. And then we have to grant all the permissions, like writing an external storage for the package, because if we don't have this right external storage and we try to save the screenshots, it will fail. And also, we should turn off the animation because of flakiness and everything like this. And also the most interesting thing, we may got a test crashes or something like this. So Android produced the orchestrator to solve this issue. So we can define, the test running and also execute the orchestrator and add the implementation for these test runners and orchestrator. So at this moment, if we added this everything like this orchestrator and everything like this, we will be ready to move to the next part, which is, define our custom Gradle tasks to go from this port. So let us make Gradle working for us actually to validate everything. So what actually we need to implement by this Gradle, we need to implement two tasks. The first task is update reference screenshot and also validate the actual screenshots, is not different from the reference one. So to do it, or talking about the first one, how we will update the reference screenshots. Actually, the first thing here is, we need to configure a Gradle tasks to run after all the Android tests and before the Android emulator closed. So, we got all of these screenshots reference from all the Android tests. So we need our task to be run after the Android tests is done. And also because we need to pull all of these screenshots out of emulator and pull it to our device, we need it to be run, uh, before the Android emulator got closed. And this is the reason why I'm using the custom Gradle plugin, because I need this, this stop emulator Gradle task. Then after make configure our task, the first step in our task here is to create a reference screenshots, and then pulling all the screenshots from the emulator to our reference folder, and then create a report that includes all the reference screenshots. And finally we need to upload these reference screenshots and the report to Firebase. So first, we can go through the build source folder in the Android Studio and start adding a new class, and let us rename this class with update reference screenshot and inject the constructor, because this is the default, implementation for Gradle tasks, and create any method called anything and just annotated by task action. So right now our class for this task is ready. So at this moment here, we need to, how we will update our screenshots references. Actually, we need a reference for ADB because we will interact with the emulator. So we need the ADB path. Thank you for Gradle. We have the reference here inside the project. If you can see, we are injecting our project here for this task. So we have the project, we have inside the Android configuration, we have an ADB executable, and we got the path for this ADB executable. We will create the reference screenshots directory inside our build directory. We will create a folder called screenshots, and we will create a references screenshots. We have also the path inside the emulator itself, storage emulator 0 pictures. Or if you change it, this path should be generated from this method to capture the screenshots inside the Android setup. So this path here should be equivalent to the screenshots path. And starting off logic, actually, yeah, it's too easy, Mayo. Actually, it's too easy by searching. And yeah, I will provide this example here. Like we have an execute, this execute method. This is a utility method. I will talk about it by end of this talk. But the execute method here accepting a terminal command, actually, like the project here. It's the first thing is accepting the project parameter, and something like a terminal, a pure terminal, make directory dash p, and the reference screenshots directory. So we created, by executing this command, we opened the terminal and created this make directory command. And then by also another execution, just takes a project to execute the ADB path, like ADP pull from the emulator path to the references screenshots path. So by executing this command, we will pull from the ADP or from the emulator all the screenshots saved to the inside this path to our reference screen path, which is this. After pulling, we have the report generator. I will talk about this also after a little bit. It's accept the report path, the report file name, and accept, the reference screenshots paths, and also the device name if we need, because we need to run on multiple device. We will accept the device name and the total number of images, with which is the reference of images here came from this, reference screenshots directory path. After that, we will upload all the screenshots folder path, and also we will upload the report to Firebase. All of these utilities will be covered in next, slides, but actually I need this code to be abstracted and describe what's going on, because we need to make this screenshot or Gradle plugin is not scary one. So this is for the first task, is to prepare our reference screenshots, and to verify the screenshots we should, like updating the reference, we need to make all the tests finish first, and then our task run. And after our task, we need to close the email. So, and inside our task, we need to create a reference screenshot, the actual screenshot, pulling the actual screenshot from the emulator, and also pulling the reference screenshots from the Firebase, and then compare both using any image comparison logic, like, OpenCV. So during this call, we have comparing pixel by pixel, and also I will provide a link to which describe how we compare the images using OpenCV. So after comparing the both images, we should create a report and upload this report to Firebase. So here is the verify screenshots, like the last time we created the class, and we inherited the default task, and then, or implemented the default task, and we have here the task action method, which is all the next slide will be inside this task action method. So we defined the ADB path from the project. We defined the reference screenshots within the build directory, which is actually part of the project. And also the actual screenshot, which is also in the build directory, and the emulator path also, for which is defined by Android utility method references before, or talked about before. After defining all the paths, we first need to make our directories. So we will make a directory for the reference screenshot directory, which is defined here. Yeah, sure. And also for Firebase storage, we will pull all the screenshot from Firebase storage, which is uploaded in last task. And also the same part here for the actual screenshot, we making the directory for the actual screenshots, and then execute execute the ADP to pull all the screenshots, or the actual screenshots, and pull it to the actual screenshots directory here. So then we should read all the images to verify. So we will have something like images loader walk down through file and load all the PNG files, and we have list of screenshots, reference images paths, and also the actual images paths. So we will do the actual validation here. I will talk about this in a little bit, but we have a results came from this method, and we generated the report here and upload the report for Firebase. So this is the abstract way to write all of our tasks like in a custom way. If we need to add anything extra to this report generator, we have the data and we can report or generate our custom report, and also we can change this validation logic and everything like this. So we have a control 100% over everything in this screenshots testing plugin. So we need to wrap, or how we wrap it together. Like the first thing here we was talking about, we need to make this Gradle task run after all the Android tests and before the Android got stopped. And also we need to wrap the two tasks together. So how we can wrap them together is actually by defining a plugin to wrap all the tasks and configure all the tasks. Also, by using this plugin, we can get an plugin extension to inject the configuration values and also configure our tasks. So creating a plugin is a very simple way. Go to build source folder and create a class screenshot plugin and make it implement a plugin of project and override the apply method. And inside this apply method, here we have the project which used before to got the Android path and ADB path and the build source path and everything like this. And then also the most interesting thing here is, we can use the target project and go to the plugin manager and apply our custom plugins like this Android emulator plugin to automatically manage our emulators within our screenshots testing. So here is the extension. So it's a simple data class using a vars, and but it should be open so we can override the methods and define whatever we need. And it could be used, inside Gradle, app.gradle, or anything like this. And then inside the project, or inside here the apply method, we can got the extension created by us and also got the ADB path, the build directory path, the tolerance path after evaluating the project, and we are ready to inject here the verify screenshots task and also update screenshots task and injecting all of needed classes by using the target project here and everything like this. And the most interesting thing here, how we can manipulate the pipeline of building to build our project. We can get a reference from connected env dev debug Android tests, or if you need to make it run for NVQA, or just got the reference for the Android tests. Got the reference from what you need here, and then depends on. So if we can see, we need all the updated screenshots reference and verify screenshots reference run after the Android tests. So we just added depends on Android tests, which we got the reference here. So our tasks, when we hit our tasks, it will first do connected and Android and dev first. And also we need to make sure it stopping Android emulator will executed after our tasks, so must run after is to inject. So by using this configuration, we added our custom tasks between the Android test and also for stopping the emulator, so we will got our tasks executed in the proper time without any issues. So talking about the utility methods, how we can compare the image, how we can execute the terminal operator, and how we can use generate reports. So here is a method from different methods to compare the images. Like we have a reference screenshots path and we have the actual screenshots path. So we can read by using an immutable image, we can load the image, the first image or the reference image, and we load the second one. And actually, we can calculate the both by getting a stream of pixel from the first image and zap it with this pixel stream from the second image and filter if the pixel is not equal, like from inside the zapping method. We zap the first pixel and the second pixel, or the first image pixel and the second image pixel. So we just compare it and we will got the difference here. So then we calculate the percentage for these different images, like this variable or this list will be a list of different pixels. So we got the difference pixel size, and divide it over the total pixels. So we have a percentage here, or we have a ratio here, and we multiply by 100 to get the percentage out of 100. And then if we have the percentage out of 100 less than the tolerance, it will not be unequal if yes. So here is the actual comparison to check with the tolerance if it pass or not. Also, generating the report, we can use XWPF document, which is a very good utility from Apache to write a documents here like DEO docx files. So we can add a paragraph, Android test report is pulled, and add a new line or add a break, and then adding some tables or adding the other screenshots here. So this method is very helpful. Just use this XWPF document. If you need to create a docx file, or if you it's up to you actually to generate an HTML or XML or MD file, anything, just use it here. But I prefer the DOX. And for executing the terminal command, actually, we have the reference for the project here. We go to project exec, we execute, and add the command here, the first one, which is, it was a makedier or ADP path or anything like this, and pass the args like makedier/p and giving the path. And also, we need to assert the normal exit value and read through the failure. And the output of this execute here will be inside this output stream. So we will set standard output here, and then we will got the output and read it as a UTF-8 character and split it by the new line, and trimming all the results. So yeah, it was too quick to talk about this part, but yeah. Any questions? This is, by the way, the simple report generated. I'm so sorry I was too fast, but
Excellent. That was very very good, Islam. It was right on time, right on time. It was too fast. The pace was exactly it. I was really really enjoying that. I was following the talk, in as much that I mean we've been through some of these experiences together, and there were quite a number of things that I'm just even catching today. So much for that, Islam. Let's see if there are any questions on the yeah. So the first question I have here is, what if the QA did automation testing using one of their frameworks? Wouldn't that be faster? So I think the question here is, if this was using frameworks as opposed to some of the approach that we've taken here. What are your thoughts on that?
yeah. So I think it's a very good. It's We are not comparing, or there are no something like that. We can use this automation testing, whether the Appium or any other frameworks, and also using our screenshots, or the QC team need to also add some integration tests or some screenshots testing. Because Appium, like Espresso, just asserting a values, like asserting a text is have X, or the value of text for this label is X, and also asserting all the values like espresso tests actually. But also the main reason here, like will be a gap. We need to see this, is this UI looks like Figma or not? Something like, if the property having if this text view have the same property, which is good, but it may be trimmed in the screen or cropped in the screen, or there are overlapping between UIs. So the screenshots here to fill this gap, not to replace other existing testing suite. Did I answer your
Excellent.
question?
Yeah, I think that does answer the question. One question here is: have you tried this smart beer product? We have Bitbar for running tests on mobile, and we are rolling out virtual tests, which uses AI to measure differences, so they don't depend on pixel by pixel comparisons.
It's amazing thing actually to have an AI working for you, or something like we have ChatGPT. Can you remember when we got I have one working for me. So no pet paper, and using an AI to compare the screenshots is very good. Actually, after the first step I was working is to compare pixel by pixel, but after comparing this one, sometimes it's, if the pixel fail or something like this, you don't have any actual results. So right now I replaced this logic by using OpenCV to do the hue comparison. But using an AI is a very good, very very good. So yeah, keep working
Thank
with
you.
product.
Thank you so much, Islam. Next question. Um, let's see. Yeah, okay, yeah, the next question is here. Are you saving your reference images for your project? And can you use the same reference image for different device sizes?
Yes. So we are saving our reference images for the fire inside Firebase packet. Actually, the first proposal for this screenshots testing is actually to use a shot Gradle plugin, which is I talked before. But this short plugin is not managing the emulators and don't upload it or support to upload screenshots references for storage packet like Firebase storage packet. So we start writing this custom logic actually to add our need, or we make our cocktail because we need uploading this reference screenshots to Firebase storage, and also to support multiple devices and run all the tests for different locales. So right now, we have a device name like I couldn't share right now, but when you open the slides, you will find a property passed to the report with a device name. So right now,
Hmm.
when we're working, we run all the tests, like we open a Pixel 4 with 28 and with Google and all the setup for this Gradle for this emulator, and then we run the tests on this Pixel 4 and Pixel 6 and Nexus S, and we're trying to cover all the screens sizes to got the benefit of screenshots testing actually, which is increase our confidence. Like the main initiative for this part, like I was developing a feature and it was look fantastic for Pixel 6, but when we run it on a lower screen device, the text got trimmed, and so I was thinking, no, I need a visual representation, automation, visual representation for this screenshot for all the tests I have. So that's the reason behind these tests. So yeah, we saving the references on Firebase, and also we running on different devices. That's why we are using Android Gradle plugin to get the
Yeah,
benefit of all of this.
yeah, yeah. That's very correct. And I also believe that the reference device, the reference image is compared with a verified image or a newly taken image on the same device. So the reference image could be on Pixel 4. The new image that has been captured as well would be on Pixel 4, and then we're able to compare using the same device because of device sizes are different, device picture qualities are different. So those are some of the things that we've removed in flakiness as well. But we are always able to like regenerate the verification, or sorry, the reference image. Thank you for that, Islam. Uh, one other question. Do we have questions yet? Uh, I think there's one more question here which says that will you change your reference images when the UI is updated in the future?
Yes, yes, we do. We have these update screenshots references. So any change in this UI, we will update the reference screenshots and go to approval from the product team and design team.
Cool, cool, awesome. Thank you so much, Islam. Really appreciate your time on this call. This has been so fantastic. Is there anything that you like to mention? Anything you like to say?
No, I just want to say thank you, Mario. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thank you, Fiji, for this also opportunity, and for everyone listening to me. I'm so sorry to be so quick, but I need to cover a big chunk in
I will
short
tell
time.
you that that was fantastic. That was right at the right momentum. So I enjoyed it. Quite a number of people enjoyed it, as you can see as well. A lot of questions popping in as well. So really fantastic. I know there are questions around references, GitHub repo,
Yeah,
link to CV and open CV and the like. So whatever reference that you have, we'll be looking forward to that as well. The recording as well will be shared as well for people to get access to this. And yeah, I also want to mention that that would bring us to the end of the call. Thank you so much, everyone. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're interested in hosting this session, just like Islam just did, please feel free to reach out to us. The QR code will be brought on screen again. Yeah, you can scan the QR code and then submit the talk. Let's review the topic together. Let's help you prepare the slide. One thing I can assure you is that you're not going to be alone on it. We'll walk you through the flow, and then we're always going to support you. I look forward to more and more engagement, and see you guys soon again. Thank you so much.